Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back in the closet with the fires being so close to our studio. Jake, Team David Meltzer. Join us Friday, time management training. There's nothing better. Extract the time. Samir, welcome as well. We are at david@dmeltzer.com. Books, guides, exercises free. Training free. If you missed the training, you can catch us featured on Spotify, featured on Entrepreneur, on every other platform as well. If you like those, just join us, david@dmeltzer.com. Welcome, everybody. It's midday IG Live. We're going to try that out. Paused. Hello, sorry. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get the questions. What do you have to say about the law of attraction? The law of attraction does not happen without action. So as my friend John Aseroff always says, you got to implement the law of Goya. Get off your ass, make something happen, and then that will send a frequency out to attract what you want. It's within the context of the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum. If you think, say, and do all the right things and then believe it and create neural pathways that will communicate with the epigenetic layer of what your DNA, your conscious competency, your unconscious competency, all aggregate into your own DNA, your own quantum memory that sends a beacon out there. It's a frequency. That frequency is what attracts to you. So you may think, say, do, and believe all the right things, but be attracting all the wrong things in your life because you haven't shifted your energy or your frequency. Very, very complex. It takes the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent, pursue your potential in order to create that frequency, to get what you want. And it all starts with what? Not the law of attraction, but the law of Goya. You got to get off your ass and make something happen. You got to take action. How do I figure out who I am meant to be? Practice. Practice who you're meant to be. Take inventory of your values every day. Your personal values, your experiential values, your giving values and receiving values. If you know your what and practice towards your what, if you're happy where you're at and you know that you're at the right place at the perfect time and you angle towards what you want, but have faith to get somewhere better, I promise you, you will know where you're meant to be. But you must have the skills, the knowledge, and especially the desire. That's right. To must be what you can be, to learn and to grow, and to know what you don't know, to live with radical humility, asking for help, finding people that sit in the situation that you want to be in. What are the best business books? Think and Grow Rich. Love Think and Grow Rich. Love Carnegie. Love Covey. Love Napoleon Hill. Love Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention. Huge fan of the Course in Miracles as well. People don't see that as a business book. I see it as my ultimate guide into business, utilizing forgiveness and gratitude as a bridge to what I want. That's right. Utilize from the ego of employment status, what I get and what other people think. EGO, edging goodness out of my life, bridging with forgiveness and gratitude into what I want, the values that I have. Callie, are you here, Callie? You have a biggest fan, Jakey Bakey, who is the head of my PR team. He is a huge fan of yours on Alone and on the History Channel, of course. Let me go ahead and get you involved here. We are at time. Let me get Callie. Callie Russell, extremely talented, unbelievable, nomad TV personality, entrepreneur, the legend. And there she is. Outside, of course. Hey. How cold is it there?
It's only about 30 degrees today.
Only? I'm such a spoiled Southern California. I was born in Akron, Ohio, if that helps. But I'm a Wim Hofer, at least. I can handle the cold. Now, where are you?
I'm up in northwest Montana right now.
I love I spent so much time in Bozeman and Big Sky and Bridger, skiing there. And I actually owned a ski mountain over there in Beef Trail in Butte as well. So spent
cool.
Great time up there.
You owned a ski mountain.
Well, it was more a ski jump. It's where Evel Knievel learned. He used the ski jump at the mountain. We had one lift, but he used it to learn how to jump motorcycles in Butte.
Wow.
Great history.
Wild.
Well, I love the fact, people think that you have to go to Harvard Business School to be a great business person or a personality. And yet I say that if you know your own frequency, that with the spectrum of what we have today, that, Dr. Pimple Popper or Callie Russell can be super impactful around the world. Well, by the way, who's your friend?
This is Black Cat.
Hi,
She's
Black Cat. Oh, we don't get
they're
that. I gotta
they're
miss.
they're all here. That's
That's
they're
so
just
cool.
they're just hanging out.
That is so cool. But I really want to talk about frequency because you yourself are an original, an authentic person with a great impact. And like I said, Jakey Bakey loves you, and we had to have you on. He's a big fan of Alone. What are the lessons that you've learned, in the non-traditional sense of now being a media personality, having your own fame, but I'm sure that wasn't your intent of just being you.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't. My intention for my life was I was following my natural interests, and I think that if you follow your natural interests, then everything happens for you. And that's what I was setting out to do. I wasn't living how I was living to try to become recognized or become well known or anything like that. But I was just doing what I was passionate about and what I was naturally drawn to and what brought me deep joy. And so I was living the life that made me the most joyful, and as you always say, like high vibration. And so that's what I was just living, like living to my fullest high vibration. And then all these opportunities just came right there. Like the Alone experience, I didn't seek that out. I didn't try to apply for that. They came to me and asked if I'd go on. So that's, yeah.
it, I love that because I've gone through periods of my own life where I search approval and I seek for things that are
Right.
more ego in their own consciousness, and they never came. And when
Right.
I started to just enjoy my own pursuits, then people actually started coming to me to do the things that I wanted to do that they were rejecting me to do in the first place, which
Yes.
I find so interesting. But there is a sustainability when you're in the flow, when you're at your pursuit of your potential. Well, I believe you and I both will never reach our potential, hopefully, but we're definitely pursuing it at an extraordinary pace. But there are people, personalities through media, all types of media, that are manufacturing a following, which I think is different than the authentic journey that you and I are on. And I don't think necessarily that that's a sustainable method of pursuing, because not that you won't last as a brand. So if you're Kim Kardashian, for example, I believe that her brand will be big, that she's built an audience and a community around her vibration and her frequency. But because it's manufactured, I don't think that it's possible to have the joy that you and I have, that it's sustainable in the respect that I literally could do what I do every day, that it's activity I get paid for now, but it's activity that I love. In the same I feel about you, compared to people that have to manufacture what they're doing the same way when I was in jobs with the wrong pursuit and things that I didn't enjoy and I had to manufacture it. Where do you see people being able to make that leap, because we live in this pragmatic world? Can anybody just say, F it, I'm going to go live by myself, or I'm going to go, continually, live on my couch until I make it, or do you think there has to be a blend?
um I think that there's just a few basic things, but I mean, we all have our different journeys and different paths. I don't think that there's a formula that you can hand to anybody and it's going to work. Everybody has to find their own way. You can't just expect to read a how-to manual and then it's all going to work out. We're all on a journey. We're all going to have unique experiences, and so you just have to follow that. And so whatever, like, that someone is naturally interested in, not because other people tell you to be interested in it or because it's going to make you rich, like go for that thing. And it depends on what your goals are, but if you want to just have deep joy, and that's how I feel like I'm doing what I'm doing because I love it, and I don't care if anybody's looking, and I don't care if I make money off of it. I'm just doing it because I feel really good doing it. And the reason that people are looking at me is because they're like, I want to feel really good doing what I'm doing. But it's not because I'm trying. And so I think for everybody to find that for themselves, you just have to be honest with yourself, what it is that you want, what kind of life experience do you want, what do you want to feel like in your heart every day? Do you want to have a sense of peace? Do you want to feel joyful? Do you want those things? And are the things that you're doing every day feeding that? Are they helping you feel joyful? Are they helping you feel peaceful? Are they attracting, you know, the kind of people that you want to spend time with, the kind of places that you want to be in, or is it attracting that, or is it not? And then how can you shift your actions to make steps in those directions? But it's interesting, you know, I've been looking at some of your work since you invited me to do this. I'm like, oh, well, I better check out David Meltzer and what he's promoting. And I love what you're promoting. It's really awesome to meet you through the screen like this. And we come from totally different backgrounds. I feel like how we've spent our time and energy is in really different worlds and realms, but yet there's so many common lessons. And one of the things that you talk about a lot is being thankful. And that's something that's huge for me too, is like just being grateful. If you're being grateful, that's going to lead you into so much goodness.
Well, you could write my next book. I know I was thinking the same thing as you're talking. I'm like, I wonder if we've read the same books, or we were friends in a past lifetime, or because our journeys are so different. And yet this is a true example of what we're needing today, especially in the United States. I'm on a huge bridge campaign. I believe that forgiveness and gratitude are bridges, and they're bridges between branches, meaning that, you know, behind you have those trees. A tree truly doesn't have branches. One of those branches behind you would never go to war against another branch. They're not looking to kill, you know, the tree in between them. And yet, you know, we're not appreciating each other, and we're not appreciating the different leaves that we have and the different twigs that come off of us, and our different sizes and different bark and the different methodologies of how we're being, you know, our nutrition. And we have separated ourselves so much that I believe we're killing our tree over nonsense. Yep. And then I get someone like you, because of technology, that is on my screen, and I feel as if we could literally be relatives of one another, that we've gone to the same schools, we grew up together. Like literally, when you speak, I'm like, yeah, she gets it. Yeah, and you meet people like that all the time from so many different places around the world. You're like, yeah, well, they get it. Are there certain impactful things that you've read or that you listened to or have experienced that, you know, you can share with us, that maybe I can see, okay, well, Think and Grow Rich is something that everyone I know, or A Course in Miracles, or Dr. Wayne Dyer, or Wim Hof. Is there any significant things that you've read, podcasts or people that have had a huge impact on your philosophy and perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say too, the books that you've mentioned, I had never even heard of them until you were mentioning them. And
that's awesome.
So I'm gonna
well, you could have written them, so it doesn't matter.
But the thing is in my life, I feel like when I was old enough to sort of learn about how the world worked. Okay, the goats. Sorry about all the.
There's a new. Usually on my show, I get other kind of goats like Tom Brady, Warren Moon. You know, now you get the real goats.
Yeah, and they're being pretty good for goats. They were trying to knock over the stand, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. And so the thing is, in my life, I've been what I call a truth seeker. I've been looking for the truth, and so I grew up just, you know, like everyone, you know, in town, in modern world. But I was like, what is this? Like, I'm not connected to my food or my water or my shelter, and like just the basic things to sustain my life are harming ecosystems in a big way. Like, there's got to be a better way. And so I've set on to seek truth and look for the things that are truthful. And I think that anybody who's looking for those things end up in the same place. Like, we all take different paths to get there, but we end up there. And it's like gratitude, love, like taking care of the people around you, like looking out for a community, looking out for a group, not just yourself, because that's just nonsense. It's not going to get you anywhere. And so as far as inspirational things, I've spent a lot of the last 10 years in the wilderness. And so no doubt there's been really inspirational people in my life, but I'd have to say my biggest teacher has actually been the wilderness and just being in nature. And that, because there's no BS in the wilderness. There's none. It's all truth. And so spending a little bit of time or a lot of time in the wilderness is what allows me to see myself really clearly, see the world really clearly, see what I need to do very clearly. And so that it's it's so simple. Time outside has been my biggest teacher and healer too.
Yeah, especially, it's interesting because I've done more commercialized natural tours and got to experience around the world all types of interesting things, including in Montana, from fly fishing to river rafting and hiking. But it's not the same as when you live with nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been blessed to spend some time in Africa and truly experience, what it's like to live with nature and to
Mm-hmm.
walk in the Maasai and have hyena walk right by you and start to understand that, why certain animals would attack other animals is a really critical lesson that I learned that,
Mm-hmm.
a lion won't necessarily, it could walk right by a zebra if it wasn't hungry, if it didn't eat, and it would, things don't just eat things because they want to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
There's, this amazing lessons and energy and respect that exists in nature that, I strive to teach in life, that there is a sense of gratitude among all living things and how they all work together in peace, and how resistance and interference and corrosion is created. And I think if more people could experience, or people like you and I could communicate it more effectively, that we could
Mm-hmm.
inspire people to shift their perspective from scarcity to abundance. And to me, that truly is needed out there. And that's why, not only does Jakey Bakey find you to be a fan, and I love the fact that you resonate with so many people, and just living your own life, are able to go ahead and share your experience and hopefully some of your perspective. Greatest lesson that you've learned through those 10 years, what lesson would you like to share that you've learned that has inspired you?
Oh yeah. And just before I answer that, into the first question, two books I would recommend
Yeah.
are one, Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Kimmerwall, and Nature and the Human Soul by Bill Plotkin.
And have you read Connected to Goodness
No, I haven't even heard of it.
by David Meltzer?
Ah! All
But I
right.
think you would enjoy it. I think you would enjoy it. Can I
I'll,
send you a signed copy?
yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd
That's
be an
awesome.
honor. Yeah.
That's so cool. Don't worry, a lot of people haven't heard of it, but that's okay. That's why I give it away for free. Anyway,
Good way to get it out there.
exactly.
But
Anyway,
I would yeah, but the biggest lesson I felt is, in society it's easy to feel depressed, confused, anxiety, confused, like confused about who you are, and or me, and I think a lot of people feel this way too. But in nature, all that goes away because you can just see yourself. You don't have to be, you're not trying to be like the trees and the animals and the birds. Nobody cares like what you're wearing or what kind of phone you have. No, none of that matters at all. And so going back to like the source, the truth, going out there, just you can just feel what it feels like to just be a human without all the pressures of society, and then having that clarity to move through the world. And the biggest thing with that is I feel like having an initiation experience in life really helped me to self-actualize. And I think that it naturally, if you're kind of following your path, it will happen. There will be a big experience that sort of initiates you into your best self, or like the layers of it, because we're always becoming our better selves, like always evolving. But having an initiation experience, and for me alone, was that in a big way. I mean, spending 3 months out in the Arctic wilderness by myself, I looked at it as sort of a rites of passage, an initiation. And so that to me is just one of the most powerful tools, is to have an initiatory experience like that, to be able to fully self-actualize and be clear about what it is that you're doing in the world.
well, you're doing amazing things, and I appreciate not only the light that you have found, but liberating other people to find their light, especially sharing your experience on the History Channel and so many other places. Where can people find you and learn more about you and your journey?
Yeah, well, just before Alone, I had zero online presence. But now with I'm making an effort, and I have my teenage sister is helping me, and so I have I'm on Instagram, as you can see, at Capricorn, and then I have a website that's capricorn.com. So
no more Home Alone. No more Home Alone. You're out there and famous, but for great reasons. And I will send you my book, Connected to Goodness. Please let me know what you think. I would love to see your thoughts and perspective of it. Thank you so much for all you do. We're huge fans. Please come on again and share with us.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Stay safe. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. She's awesome. The great Callie Russell. You can tell when people are full of light and love and lessons. And Callie Russell is full of light, she's full of love, and she's full of lessons, and is an icon for us all, how we can be connected and our own experience and our own potential. Everybody fits together perfectly with their own frequency because we all are one. That's coming into the election, very important for us all to know. Get out and vote. David@dmeltzer.com. We're going to talk about time management this Friday. It's free. If you missed if you're like Callie and haven't heard of my book and you want it for free, just email me, David@dmeltzer.com. Happy to send you my book, as well as Callie. You can join my text community for extraordinary people, 949-298-2905. Yes, that was awesome. Plotkin was the other book. I don't remember the title, but Jake, maybe you can put that up there that she recommended as well. Anyway, let's take a few more questions. They're loading up. Where am I on time? Oh, Robert Richard. Let me just tell you this one real quick. How can I become a better father or mother? Just remember this. Your kids are not for you. They're through you. They won't listen to you, but they will watch you. Your kids are not for you. They're through you. They won't listen to you, but they'll watch you. Make sure you show me your friends. I'll show you your future. One of my dear friends, Al Manfrey's in the house. Mega thumbs up, Al. Congratulations on your new office. You are a good friend, and thank you for taking such good care of my family. As my financial planner, I always say, I want a financial planner that would be more sick if he lost my money than I would, and that's that man. Thank you, Al. All right, let's get my friend Robert in the house. You got a great warm-up. Emmy Award-winning actor, founder of Highway Fit, CEO of Business Strategist and Elite Performance Medicine, and not a bad-looking guy at all. I'm getting outclassed here. What's going on?
What's going on, David? How are you, sir?
I am phenomenal. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the Emmy, man.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot, man. Congratulations on your success, too, man.
Thank you.
Very
Well, most
admirable.
importantly, we're impacting a lot of people, and I was really interested in the transition on elite performance medicine. And I think utilizing kind of a combo of Western medicine with an Eastern philosophy seems to be one part of your approach. How did you get involved in, the elite performance side of things?
Yeah, so I really got involved as a customer. I injured my leg, and I called my buddy. He's a doctor. He's like, "You're going to be injured for like 3 weeks." I'm like, "Great." But there's a person in the gym that everyone was pointing to, going, "Oh, go ask that lady over there. She has this stuff called Reborn." So I put it on that night, about a dime size, and I could not believe that I could walk the next day. All of my swelling went down, and I'm like, "What is this stuff?" It's like a miracle. And now it's sort of coined the term like fountain of youth in a bottle, and it transforms suffering for all. So we have different products and stuff. You can see them toggling back there. It's got stuff for the anxiety and stress, things for surface imbalance like psoriasis, eczema. I have psoriasis. And sort of our North Star is the Old Testament. And in the Old Testament, in Ezekiel, it says, Ezekiel 47:12, it says, "Their leaves will not wither, their leaves are for healing." And so all of our formulas are all earth, and they're made with only active ingredients. So for the benefit of the consumer, everyone who's watching, there's no inactive ingredients in any of our formulas. And so when you go to the drugstore, like everything you're seeing on the shelf says like active ingredients and a bunch of inactive ingredients. And our founder said, like, why would you ever put inactive ingredients for, human suffering?
It's interesting when I'm looking at the products that you guys have and what you do, I always start from the premise that I am healed, right? That I'm born part of something that's perfect. And that if we look at it in a medical sense, what you're saying too, is that what we really have to do is take away what's disrupting our perfection. the
Mm,
inflammation, the interference, the corrosion, that, we aren't truly injured. The symptoms are actually what we have to clear, which is the inflammation or the irritation, to the perfection or the balance that we were born with. And I think it's a counterintuitive approach that slowly but surely, we're learning how to resolve, whether it's gut health, joint health, muscular,
absolutely.
skin irritation, all of these things. We forget that we are actually healed and healthy, and we have to figure out what's disrupting what already exists instead of the opposite.
One, I second that. John Travolta actually taught me the same thing, and so that's
Nice.
the same philosophy that John Travolta has. And our injuries are a way of our bodies letting us, notifying us of an imbalance in our body, and we're trying to correct that balance. And our body is a machine. It's the best machine ever invented. It's a $1 billion machine, and it is doing its best to help heal itself. But also you can, do things with your, intake, your nature, things that you are interacting with to accelerate that process.
And beyond the products and the physicality of what you do, you also incorporate a mindset, right? We
Yeah.
talked about some of these strategies and philosophies. How do you incorporate that mindset into what you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the most important thing is just like, being of service, to the greater good. Like that's sort of like what I think drives me forward. And, you figure out what problem you want to solve. And then you figure out how you can best solve that problem at the highest level of value. And also recognize who else is in, any sort of marketplace who's solving the same problem. My background's engineering, so somehow I ended up in the arts and entertainment and doing movies and whatnot. But my passion as a kid was, hey, how do I engineer stuff? And I fell in love with engineering. I wanted to be a mission specialist for NASA. Shaquille O'Neal actually paid my scholarship to send me to Huntsville, Alabama, to go to the Space Academy. And I was actively pursuing that. I went to Johns Hopkins University for engineering. My grandfather had a patent on reverse osmosis, on the visual approach slope indicator, which is what every single airport in the world uses to land planes at the right angle. My grandfather invented that. So that was like my pursuit. And um, I think there's always this sort of burning fire inside of me of like, hey, let me get back to sort of like reverse engineering, like successful things that have legacy and that can build on itself. There's one philosophy I have, there's TNDO, there's no days off.
Me
Uh,
too.
and then also,
Activity I get paid for, activity I don't get paid for. 7 days a week. I vacation every day.
that's right, for sure. And then you got to have like, perseverance, resilience, because the universe will push back on you. That's just simple physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You have to be determined. You have to work hard, and then teamwork, because no one can do it alone. There's a scientific sort of like explanation of like the power of like adding a team member, and they use it in a way of like chopsticks. If you break one chopstick and you put two chopsticks together, it takes 4 times the amount of energy to break two chopsticks. It's the square. So every time you have somebody who's aligned with your life, whether it be your mom, your best friend, your brother, it can even be, an enemy. If they're helping you move towards a mission, you're getting a lot more work done at a more efficient rate, and you have to like honor that person.
And when you honor people, it promotes you and it strengthens you as well. And that's why, for me, understanding and praying for people's happiness, because not only is it finding people that are aligned with us, but it's when people have judgments, conditions, or attacks upon us, which they do because they project their own insecurities. When we pray for that healing of their own insecurities, we get that quadrupling effect, that compound interest, the aggregation, acceleration, and growth that we want in our lives. And that comes from the consistent behavior. You intrigue me on the consistent side of things, because I'm constantly trying to teach people to be consistent. I believe 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. I know that the greatest asset that I have is my consistency. I believe in zeroing effects of the universe, that if I do something 6 days and then one day I don't do it, it has a zeroing effect. So it's X to the zero, which puts me back to the beginning. It's one.
Back to one.
Yeah. And, for me, I use the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious continuum to aggregate how neural pathways are formed and how our quantum memories are formed, our epigenetic layer of our DNA. I've studied physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. I'd love to have you give your insight on why consistency creates the compound interest and aggregate effect that I know is true. But because you have a more scientific background than even I, and you've experienced the same thing I have in multiple genres of careers and industries, you obviously get it. But I'd love to get your perception so more people can understand from someone else's point of view what I'm trying to teach.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just from Newton's standpoint, he would say that, any object that's either at rest or at motion will stay in motion unless it comes in contact with something. So you stopping something, even for a day, you're actually stopping momentum, the flow of it, everything. You are impacting that progress, and then you are stopping and you're back at a static relationship. You have to go back into dynamic. And therefore you are, by definition, starting again from one. That's just from a science standpoint. From a mathematical standpoint, I think the consistency is the basis of any foundation. And so if you look at you yourself as the foundation for anything on top of you, you're more powerful the more you support that. When you take you away from that, the whole thing crumbles. And then for what you said about the connection between people, like, God is love. And, sort of like our relationship with others is a pyramid where God is at the top of that pyramid and you and I are here at the other end. And as we get closer to the love, as we get closer to God, we get closer to each other. So those are sort of like three, one physics, one mathematical, and one spiritual way of talking about being consistent, moving with love and intention, and being of service and being a foundation for what you're building.
You're truly a Renaissance man, and it's incredible. I love, peeling the layers off of people when you see a certain image. I saw In His Father's Shoes, he won the Emmy Award, and you just look at someone and go, oh, he's a great actor. And, to realize that, acting seems to be a byproduct of who you are, that you can't find outside of you, what you don't find inside, and really learning about what's inside of you and makes you tick is incredible. I could literally, I want to get your perspective of how you describe so many different things. To me, frequency is one more thing I'd love. I know go a little bit over time if you have it for me.
Let's have some fun.
Frequency is super important to me. And especially today's age where we have the capacity to reach 4.4 billion people. It's great that you have your daytime Emmy, but that's nothing compared to what your personal brand can reach today and who you can impact.
Absolutely.
Frequency consists of three things to me: a strength of a signal, a spectrum or a bandwidth of the signal, and then the clarity of your message, which is why I can explain something, but I love you to clarify in your words, in your experience, in your frequency, the same exact thing. That's why when I tell people to say thank you before they go to bed and when they wake up, and it will change their lives, that it resonates differently. They've heard to be grateful. Everyone knows that, but I think I've changed more lives by that one little lesson than anything else I've done in my life. And there's something about the frequency in which that message is being created in this new platform. How do you explain those three components of frequency, and why does what we say resonate with a larger audience farther and clearer than what's been said in the past, for example, by many other people?
Absolutely. I said the first thing pretty much is like our origin. We can't change our origin, but our potential energy is endless. And so think of it like a tree, right? You have a sort of this young tree that has sort of like these baby roots and the tree that's above ground. You plant that tree and you nurture that tree. It is actually growing down into itself, into the ground. It is becoming more rooted. And so a lot of times people are trying to grow up, but if you have a tree that's a redwood and it's not rooted in the ground, it will fall over. So a lot of the work is center seeking, where you're talking about that frequency, right? And that's where the sort of the power comes that it can sort of push out. So that's the origin, where you are. And then the second part is the destination, knowing where you're going. A lot of times in nature, whether it be the Fibonacci number, that's the sort of like the code for life and living, or just anything in nature, it's going to a specific direction. And sometimes I think us as human beings, we don't know where we're going. We haven't figured out where we are inside, and we haven't decided where we're going. But the mind is the most fertile field in the world. Whatever you plant there, it'll grow. So you have to plant, excellence. You have to plant, service. You have to plant God, appreciation, love, family. So that's the second thing. And then I think the third thing is who you surround yourself with, where you're getting your stimulation and your input. People like you, man. You're a father to all of us. Even though you're here on broadcasting, it's like we're all looking up to you. And whether it be Kobe Bryant, who's setting an example, my grandfather, same thing. My father, they're saying, hey, let me sort of like prune you, much like a tree, and shape you so that you're heading in the right direction and you're getting the nutrients and getting the right inputs.
That's awesome. My mentor, Dennis Waitley, had this terrific line, right? I'm just planting seeds under trees I may never sit under. And the mind itself, that fertile field of intention, and what you give intention to and attention to will equal the coincidences in your life. This has been an extraordinary day for me. I don't know if you caught any of Callie from Alone. So, kind of have two celebrities, true personalities that have award-winning personalities, but yet, for me, this has been one of the best lives I've ever done. Unexpectedly, the wisdom within the age group that you both are in and the experience you have, no wonder you're achieving so much in your life: fulfillment, passion, purpose, and profitability as well. And anything I can do to help enhance that, my friend, you just let me know. Just make me one promise that you'll come back on and we can do some more stuff together. Does that sound fair?
I would love to be here, man. I had a great time with you. We'll connect personally too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Robert Richard, thank you so much for joining me. You can check him out at the Robert Richard. Very easy. Anywhere else they can grab you?
Yeah, I'm out in the world. I'm hugging grandparents and kissing babies. So come up to me. I give big hugs.
All right. You need a campaign manager for 2024. I'm your guy.
Let's go.
Robert
Absolutely.
Richard for president right here. You heard it first. We need great wisdom. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you. God
bless you.
Take care, Rob.
All right. Right on. I'm blessed. Wow. That's all I got to say. I know my mom was calling. I went over. She was calling me at 1 o'clock, but I just had to hang on. Sorry, Mom. I know you're not on Instagram watching me, but David at dmeltzer.com. Training on Friday. It's free. Books, guides, exercises, all for free. Join my text community, 949-298-2905. We are starting a sales group, private sales group, and private group in November. Reach out if you want to be a part of that. We got great reception to that. I can't wait to get started. Let me just take, as usual, one last question, and then we will take it to tomorrow. Where do you see the future of social media heading? More into the subgroups. So we can't fathom 4.4 billion people. So we're going to get more into the block chain aspect of social media, where we're going to have things by categories and groups, and be able to go ahead and kind of subcategory so that we're more focused in on the interests that we have, and we're attacking and connecting in the groups to grow and grow and grow. I think it'll be more specialized and specific. Thank you, everybody. What phenomenal guests. Callie Russell, Robert Richard, two phenomenal personalities, and they're Buddhas. That's all I got to say. They're Buddhas from, all three of us look different ages, different backgrounds, but we share a common belief of potential. You can see it right there. And we're meeting at the top, closest to God, to our truth. And I'm so blessed to have both of you in my life now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To everyone else out there, thank you so much. Remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a great day.